Hey, Simba, wake up.
I am awake.
Okay, because we're live, so it's good to be awake when we're live. Hey, what's going on, everybody? We're here with another rousing episode of Battle Pirates Crow's Nest No Quarter. We're calling this one SilverStrike Recall. And, I'm sure everybody knows why the name of that is this one. But that's going to be our first topic that we're going to get into right off the bat. But first, let me introduce everybody who's here. I'm sure you know them all already. It's our usual list of suspects. We got Stormcatcher.
Hello, everyone.
We got Watchman.
Hi, everyone.
We got Ross.
Good evening, people.
We got Simba.
Hello.
And we got Ozzy.
Good morning, everybody.
All right, so let's get right into it. Let's talk about the SilverStrike nerf. What do you guys think? I'll let everybody else go first, and then I'll give my thoughts at the end. So how about we'll just go down the line. Stormcatcher.
Luckily, I didn't get it yet. I was waiting for somebody to put it in, see how it works. And since they nerfed it and everything, now I got to figure out how to spend my bounty points. So, I'll be listening to y'all to figure out what to do.
Fair enough. Watchman.
Oh yeah, I'm chuffed. I'll put 3 of them in. Yeah. Very disappointed. Obviously, we can only work with the stats that they give us, yeah, and yet again, why don't they try testing stuff? And that's it. It's
fair enough. Ross.
Yeah, I guess for me, I'm an all bounty type guy. I like bounty. Bounty's my favorite. It's an event, and then then I wasn't really looking forward to bounty that much. I saw the UAV turret was the only item I was interested in the entire event. So I did do the event right off the bat. Went really storming out of the gate. I scored like 200K opening day, opening 24 hours, 200K. Pretty much knocked off everything I needed and I did the math ahead of time, and I knew that this is going to be a stopper because I can do math. Well, so I put it in, and sure enough, I only figured I needed 1, and yeah, I only needed 1 with my design, so I didn't have to tweak too much, but I did change some things. My main problem is not nerfing, changing, whatever, right? It's the lack of testing, and how come you can't do math, and we can. That's I'm not going to totally freak out about it, but it's lack of testing, and how come you can't do math?
Yeah, I know I said I was going to say my thoughts at the end, but I am going to throw one little snippet in here. 10 seconds of testing could have told them that it was way over the top. So obviously, to me, they did not test it at all. At all.
Correct. Almost they don't even know that the specials could add 2 things.
Yeah, it was definitely a disaster in that aspect of it. But Simba, what do you got?
I don't like the fact that they nerfed the range. Where they nerfed it where everywhere where it fires, you almost have to readjust to try to get it where it hits them, but it doesn't do as much damage. I already have 1 in my base. I don't think I'm going to put any more in. But I'm going to keep it in there.
Ozzy?
Yeah, the minimum range is the one I didn't like them nerfing as much. The rest I can live with. But the minimum range is the problem one, because the minimum range now, you have to have your base set up pretty much spot on, or the minimum range is going to be a tile outside the walls of your base. And the second thing is they can't do math. Well, actually, I would like, if I was working, I don't work at the moment, if I was working, I'd like them to do my wages. Because,
All right.
Because now I can do math as well, like Ross. If you add up all the specials, the percentages, it comes to 106 damage. damage percentage. But theirs is 145. So I want them to pay me. I think I should only get $106, and they're going to give me 145. That's pretty cool.
Well, but yeah, you would like that until then it came the next week and they took all that extra money back out of your paycheck.
But how's the maths working?
There's a discussion about that today, that it's like it's being not only multiplicative but additive as well.
Yeah, I know, but
it all comes back down to the same thing, regardless of whether their math is right or whether their math is wrong. It still comes back to if you had tested it for 10 seconds, you would have seen it was way overpowered.
Mm-hmm.
So here's my thoughts. It needed to be nerfed. I don't think there's any question about that, because like base hitting would have come to a complete and utter standstill if it wasn't nerfed. I think we can all agree on that, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So I mean, this isn't a case of, because I've seen so many people say, "Oh, well, the whales were crying. The whales were crying." It has literally nothing to do with the whales were crying. It's literally nobody would have been able to hit bases, whales or little people or whatever. If a base had one or two of these turrets in, you weren't getting in. Period. Do I think maybe they went a little overboard, nerfing all the stats? Probably, but I'm torn, because yes and no, because we spent a lot of time talking about this in Discord today, and the general consensus seems to be that they're still really, really overpowered if you go all in on them. If you do all 8 UAV turrets and get the faction and everything, it's still a matter where nothing is going to get in except for maybe howlers, which is kind of almost where it was in the first place. So I don't know. I think it's going to take a little bit more time to determine whether they overreacted or not. But and I hate to keep saying it, but it all comes back down to they wouldn't have had any of this problem at all if they just would have tested it some.
Yep.
Like I said, I don't mind the nerfing. That's fine. Like you said, it was way overpowered, but I think they should have left the minimum range alone.
My kind of thing is, the player, we knew it was going to be way overpowered. How come they didn't? I mean, seriously, 8 years. How come you can't figure it out?
Yeah,
it's not my. I mean, and compensation later, the fact and all that. That didn't. Holiday event. You got to be kidding me. That's right. I'm like, I don't have a problem with. I understand that it does need to be fixed because they didn't get it right, but that's not my problem. I'm just the customer. The customer is really feeling like they got shit on this one. I'm a customer. I feel like I got shit on big time. And again,
Ross,
fuel tokens are not going to do it.
Ross, you missed the discussion we had about the beginning of the conversation where we need to watch our language a little bit from now on.
All right. But build tokens are not going to make me a happy customer. How about that?
That's good. That's fine. But I have to say, on the flip side of that, when we get the new OP and the new turrets come out, and you're going to have all those build tokens for those turrets, you'll probably be back to being a happy customer at that point.
The only problem I have with this is they dropped this about, we're going to have to do this about it. We're going to do this about it. They nerf it and then, goodbye. So they ain't got to listen to any of this, the complaints or anything. They just dropped the bombshell on us and then walked out the door.
Well, that's standard operating procedure for them, though. They always drop all bad news. If you'll notice, they always drop really bad news on Friday night. That way they're out of the office for the entire weekend.
Testing. Hello?
We hear you.
Yeah, unfortunately, kicks I never do. Testing, eh? It's yet again. Yeah. It's how many times do we have an event? Do every single thing that they put out? It just seems like it has to be changed. Or they nerf it, or they do something with it. It's nothing just comes straight at you and you can just use it. It's meant to be used properly. It's just it gets tiring. It really does. Mentally tiring in this game. Just to, when you go in, you win something, you're very fit, you do this, and then all of a sudden, it's not fit for purpose anymore. And don't get me wrong, I do agree that it was overpowered. But so yeah, take the damage down. Could have left the range alone. Really, to test things, just test things, guys.
I just feel sorry for everybody that rearranged their base to put these in, and now all this happens, and now they have to go in and redo their bases all over again.
Well, I did adjust my base for them to fit, and all I had to do was a minor adjustment. All I had to do was move them a little bit, and it fixed the problem. Fixed my problem anyway. The range, the minimum range problem is all I had, really.
I mean, here's one thing, in my view, and I don't know how much anybody else has thought about this, but like this imbalance complication is even going to be more impactful further down the road too, because all those people who got those 3-day structure upgrade tokens or whatever, and they didn't spend building upgrade tokens to put them in. They went and farmed base parts real quick and popped them in there. So then now when it comes down to the upcoming building upgrades that we're going to have, they have a head up on everybody just because they simply bought it right away and farmed a couple 100,000 or a couple 100 million base parts or whatever, a couple million base parts. And that kind of throws a wonk in the balance of things even further down the road, if you catch my drift.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me it was just under 1.1. No, it was 101. 1.1, just under 1.1 million to swap one over with all the specials and whatever else. So two of those. So 200 million in base price. So it didn't take long to get anyway.
Really? It was only, I was only using about 750. So that's a refit one.
No, well, you already had a heavy turret then.
I already had the heavy turret. Was it that much?
It might be different specials that you could be using too, because I know not all the specials are the same base parts across the board.
Yeah.
I think it was just under. Well, maybe it was just under 1.
You changed the armor on yours when you did it.
I didn't.
Yeah, I think I did actually. Yes.
That's what I added
Might
to
have
it.
been Yeah, that's what I added to it.
Push armor on turrets. Who does that silliness?
Only if
So
it's in your bubble pad, you don't put armor on. Otherwise, armor.
There's no doubt it's a big disaster, all of which could have been avoided with some simple testing. Because like at this point, and I can almost guarantee you the changes they made, they didn't have time to fully test those out correctly and fully to the extent they should have been. So we don't even know with where we're at now if that's where it's going to stay.
No, yeah, that's what I was going to say. I just don't think they're safe to mess with right now. As far as rearranging your base and that type of thing, I would hold off a little while until we just see what happens with this. I don't think they're where they're going to be left at, in my opinion, either. And so I would hold off on that also. But I would like to mention the fact that this isn't the event right before this where we got so it was the raid, correct? The raid right before this?
Yeah.
Didn't we have the
well, no, last week we had shipwrecks.
Shipwrecks where did you get the interdictor? Was that the lead prize?
Yeah. That was in the raid. Yeah, that was in
the raid. So the raid, when that came out, the interdictor that was also not tested when it was released, it did not work. It didn't even fire.
Oh, the interceptor one.
The interceptor
by what's it called?
No, I didn't get it because they're not my thing. So this isn't the first of this though. They didn't test the last event at all either. I mean at all, because they didn't test that at all, or they'd know that it didn't fire. You know what I mean? So they're not testing. They're not testing at all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I know that HTML5 is taking up a lot of their time, and that there's no question about that. However, you can't let that one aspect of things take up every single bit of your time to where you're putting out an absolute crap product.
Yeah, well, it's no good working on that and then finding out, oh shit, now we've only got 10 people left playing.
Right, exactly, and that's what's going to happen if you keep putting out stuff that doesn't work and keep putting out stuff that doesn't work. People are just going to walk away from the game.
Or the problem that they've hired the quality control team from Chernobyl, you know?
Yeah. They've got a quality control team?
But
Well,
That's news.
okay, but here's another thing, though. It's like, to a certain degree, you can't even really blame the quality control team because they're still trying to probably catch up with all the other stuff that they have to go through from 6 months ago that they put out originally that was busted.
in all honesty, they will do everything but accept blame. I'll guarantee it. They will never post a thing saying we royally messed up. We want to fix it. We want to make our customer base happy. What will that take? That will never, ever happen.
Oh, okay.
Right. They try to do it to a certain degree, I think, with, giving out the tokens and everything, but it's just I don't think that was the right call.
No.
A month or so ago, they put out a 501 target that had a feature in it that you only had to kill the outpost. Yeah, again, lack of testing. And that's on their part, not ours. But just because some players may have taken advantage of that, as they might call it, that was their own fault for lack of testing. Yet again.
I see people mentioning the fact that the UAV turrets were in the Kixeye employee bases.
Yeah,
They were.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was, and to a certain degree, I actually understand that, because how are you going to know exactly, what it does and what it looks like and everything if it's not in at least one target for you to see it?
And the carnages as well, the upgraded carnages as well. Were there. Yeah. But they were quite easy in that target. I mean, all you had to do was come in, break them first two gates, turn it in, kill them carnages quickly.
Yeah, my point was the fact is they actually had hands on.
Oh yeah.
So they should have known.
Didn't they used to use?
Okay, I see what you're saying there. Well, I want to say originally though, and I can almost guarantee. I can't absolutely guarantee, but there was a whole lot of questions about range and arcs and stuff in chat one day on Discord. So I would almost bet that because I believe it was an alien space where the one turret was. I would almost be willing to bet that he just slapped it in there and took a screenshot. That way people could see the arc and the range and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah,
even if he had one in there, he didn't necessarily have hands-on experience with it, if you follow what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Didn't they used to, every time we have an event or something, they always sent out a preview of what we're going for and that, like in the raids, or I believe they did a couple in Bounty too. And yet, if they had done that, they would also have been able to see how it is through the preview. But they don't even do that anymore.
Yeah, I mean, well, that was the early days back with Swag and the. That was kind of a whole different approach to things, but I also did like those release videos with short pictures, at least descriptions of what's coming out, not from the players. I know the players do it, and Crow's Nest show, especially in other shows. That's primarily how they, get by, is because the player base needs to learn about the game that the game doesn't offer. But I wish they did have a few more tutorial type situation things on new releases and raid items.
I think I'll tell you what, I think some of it could be down to the fact that they're working so much on the HTML that the game is slipping a lot. Like in what they're doing. Because they're trying to sort of do two things at the same time. That's all. That's the only excuse I'm going to give them on this, because if these mistakes keep happening after we go over to the HTML, the things aren't being tested there, then I can't see a reason. Then it's why we keep seeing these things.
I guess too, something we should point out on the UAV turrets, people who might not know, is that any specials for turrets that you have that increase penetrative damage will increase the damage of those UAVs. Same with any range extensions that you have for penetrative, it'll affect the range of the turrets. So be aware of that. Penetrative specials on your UAV turrets, good.
And when he actually put a post saying there was no specials for UAVs, which there quite clearly is one.
There is. There was the power cells or whatever.
Yep. But on the release, when it was, or the notes that he put out, he just said, "Oh yeah, as we know, there isn't one for UAVs," which is like, have you not even looked at any of the stuff you've released in the past? This is why this happens. They don't look at what they've previously got, and then things become overpowered because we go through the trillions of fucking specials that they've dropped to us, find the ones that we can use, and make it work, or sometimes overwork possibly. But it's their own fault because they have done their own homework, And then we're the ones who suffer because we work, we earn it, we build it, and then gets nerfed, and that's what is annoying a lot of people. It's not so much that it was nerfed, it's the fact that it was released incorrectly in the first place, and it seemed that they had less information about it than we did.
I'll give them a little bit, I guess I can say, not knowing about specials and all that. New team, they don't know anything about the game, so they come in and they make something, but they don't know about specials. They don't know about this, that, and this, and that's the reason why they have screw ups like what just happened.
No, because I don't think that's an excuse. I can't get a job in McDonald's and not know the menu.
Right. No, exactly.
Actually, yes, you can.
Well,
Okay, but you can't get a job past minimum, past that level you shouldn't be able to, without knowing at least the product you're selling.
Yeah.
Right.
And the thing is, all they have to do is go into they've got drop-down lists now. Oh, we've got a UAV. Let's see if there's any UAVs. You click on you go into a special, right? You go into the menu and you go, and it's always on all. You scroll down, you go, oh look, there's UAV. Let's click on that, see what happens. Oh look, there is a UAV special. It's not that hard. It's not rocket science.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, apparently it is.
There was only one to find, wasn't there?
Yeah, there's only one there. So I mean, you click on UAVs, you don't have a lot of choice. There's only one there.
Well, maybe they just know how to program the filter, not use it.
Yeah, that'd be the one.
I don't know.
For that new turret, you just look up penetrative. Okay, this, and this. Yes, that'll go on. Okay, this will get UAVs. Oh, look, one for that.
And Carl in chat, that's why I specifically said about penetrative range. They make a big difference.
Yep.
Because it goes from that little band that the UAVs cover when you don't have it on to they actually do probably like I'd say twice as much when you put that special on. So that makes a hell of a difference in the amount of area they can cover.
Yeah.
Plus it gives you another 31% damage as well.
Yes.
So, is it? I thought it was 20% damage and 31% chain range.
No, penetrative range. Plus
oh no, sorry, I was thinking of UAV special. My bad.
Yeah. All right.
So I've got a question. I'd like to put out there. So those of us, or anyone that's refitting them, are you keeping them?
At the moment, I am, because no one's hit my base to see if they work.
Mine works.
I have 4 in currently. I'm determining on whether I want to change my other 4 to them as well, and just go all in, because I do firmly believe that if you go all in on them and you choose the correct fashion, the only fleet you'd have to worry about at that point would be Howlers.
It's a big nada for me. I got one. It's going to stay because I'm not wasting any more time on the turret until they figure it out. And that's the only reason it's staying. It might get beat, might not. It seems pretty good, but I don't know if it's even going to be any good tomorrow, is my point. So I'm not messing with it.
I mean, it's with base parts though, so it doesn't really cost you anything to swap it if you really want to get rid of it and put something else back.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen bases being hit since with them in, and they're still doing a reasonable amount of damage.
Yeah.
So, you know, yeah, and I still think they're going to stop a lot of preps and stuff like that.
I'll say this though, as somebody, as everybody here is well aware, I'm way behind on PvP because I just totally quit doing bounty there for a long time. And it's like, and when I got back into this one, it's like I'm still not hitting it very hard at all. I'm only at like probably 20,000 points or whatever. But like I had to make a choice. Well, do I get this new turret or do I get, you know, two of the older turrets that were only 10,000 points that I missed, like, you know, the scatter gun or the downpour cannon or whatever. And I'm like, and if it ends up being that they nerf this thing too much more, I'll definitely be putting a ticket in saying, I want you to swap this out for two other turrets that I passed up on.
Right. I don't even use the full 8. So for me, I only had 4 before, and I had to adjust my base a little bit to add a 5th. I helped some other people in my alliance totally redesign a whole base. Spent hours and hours and hours doing that, and to hold 8, and we got that done. And then
you're talking about actual heavy turrets.
Yeah,
heavy turrets. Yeah, as opposed to having 8 of the new UAVs. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not running very many heavy. I in my base, back in the refactor, I deleted quite a bit to try to get my bubble pad correct. And in all honesty, I've never gotten it back. I don't have the full amount of turrets, full amount of warehouses or anything. Just to have my bubble pad correct. In fact, I can't even upgrade my portals to level 3 because I don't hold enough in resources. It's not even possible.
Well, there you go. Man, I can't do mine to level 3 because, well, I'm lazy. But anyway, I think we've gone on about the turret long enough. It all comes down to test your crap before you put it out. That's all. Just test it.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm like some of you guys. I'm hoping it's just because they have so much attention focused on HTML5. But once they get HTML5 out and running, they're not going to be able to use that as an excuse anymore. So better watch your P's and Q's.
Yeah.
So other than that, how's everybody's bounty going?
Yeah, not
Doing good.
Yeah. I hit obviously the Kickstarter employee bases. They were pretty easy, to be honest with you. You know, I hit them pretty quickly. I did throw Grease Monkey Crew on. I went in and hit the 100 below, 100 and below. All them ones seem to be paying out good points. I found a couple that didn't have guard fleets in to start with, and then everything seemed to have a guard fleet in afterwards. After the first time I'd hit anything, but even in that, it was very, very low repair. I could hit quite a few bases before I'd even need to repair anything, you know, even the crew one.
I would just like to point out that relatively easy is purely a matter of perspective.
Okay.
It's all a matter whether you have all the toys and have their appropriate upgrades and whatnot.
Okay,
As somebody who only has like one subjugator that's not upgraded at all, has one basilisk that's not upgraded at all and not even fully ranked yet.
Okay.
And like I think I have 9 breachers that only 1 or 2 of them are U1, and that's it. I did not find the Kicks bases easy at all.
Okay, so I looked in the tool bag and pulled out a fleet of howlers and stuck a Grease Monkey Crew on, and yeah, I walked it, and within a couple of hours I got 80 odd million points, and I was done. You know. is it 8 million or they thousands? I can't remember. Let's have a look. 80,000 points was it? So I don't know. Anyway, yeah, and I've got everything I needed really. You know, I've got over 100,000 now, but that's just because of the drops. You know, and I was getting close to filling up. I went and hit a few map targets just to tip me over the 10k and sort of save it all. But yeah, it's been pretty easy.
How many points you at?
Just over 100,000.
Okay.
But I mean, within the first hour and a half, I think I was in about 5th or 6th place global, and then I just sort of I didn't need any more. You know.
Well, as somebody who doesn't have all the newest and latest stuff and doesn't have my shit upgraded at all, I freaking hate bounty bans because I'm like, down to where I have to farm like, the ones that are 280 points or 360 points or whatever, and that takes a ton of time, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm just not that committed to putting that much time into it.
See, that's the irony of like I've said to people before. Once you get caught up and you can go out, you can hit them and get, I mean, obviously I didn't get 4,000 all of them, but I did hit 4,000 points on quite a few of them actually, when I was hitting those targets. And like we're saying, and that adds up really fast, But that's because if you can do reasonably well in every event that you take part in, you're always kind of on top of the game, and you pick up the tokens, you pick up, the specials and everything else, and hopefully you're there,
Well, somebody like me, I'm going around looking for the bases that don't have any heavy turrets in it, and I've been finding some between 100 and level 100 and 120. I've been finding some of those without heavy turrets in it. If they don't have them, I just let my breachers go. I let them take them. If I pop in and I see heavy turrets in, I back out and go look for another one. But there's a couple of them I've been hitting 1,000 points. I've hit a couple. I've found them 800 points, 900 points. But that's how I've been running my bounty.
Ouch. I gotta say, I came out of guns on fire. I was really excited. I'm at 275,000, and I got all that in the day one. I think the first 24 hours, because I pretty much stopped after the whole nerf debacle. But I enjoyed it. I mean, I was pretty much on fire. I was autoing with the subjugators and hitting with autoing employee bases with subjugators and then hitting players with howlers. And I had a blast. And to start off with, I mean, I actually brought my medals to 0 to start bounty, and then I went up to 500. So I gained 500 medals just in bounty alone. It's really been, that part of it was kind of fun.
Well, you can grab your heavy turrets now, can't you?
What do you mean?
There's 5 heavy turrets you can grab in this bounty.
Oh, no, I think he has them. He just hasn't equipped them.
Yeah, I have them. I just don't want to use them.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah. I deleted them. But so that part of the bounty was fun, and prior to this turret release, I'm really thinking that base hitting was relatively balanced for the most part. I mean, not when I say this, a lot of people disagree, but when I'm saying that it's relatively balanced for the players that have everything that there's in the game has to offer, meaning that there's no base that wasn't just not beatable no matter what, and there's no fleet that you could not stop, and so we were really at a point where I was happy going into this bounty for me. into that.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think it was getting quite balanced. Yeah.
That needle never stays there for very long, though, does it?
No.
No.
two or 3 days at best. Yeah.
That's actually kind of funny you bring that up, because that's another discussion we were having on Discord today. How every time we get a new team, and every PvP team says that they're gonna fix things, so we never have that pendulum swing anymore. And every time it's the exact same crap.
Yeah.
Well, you figured it's going to swing because what's going to happen when they come out with tier 9 hulls and they're going to up the OP to 12 and all that. The pendulum is going to swing every once in a while because they'll put out the Conqueror hull, tier 9 Conqueror hull first, and then later on down the line we'll get the tier 9 defense hull that's supposed to counter that Conqueror hull instead of them releasing it at the same time.
Yeah, well, it's not even that so much, though. It's like, you can have pendulum swings that are like tiny pendulum swings.
Right. Gradual.
Come out with your T9 hull, don't up its damage by 500,000, up its damage by like 50,000. That's how you avoid those massive pendulum swings. So you're getting a little bit more, but not like, oh my God, nothing can stop it type of stuff,
And so then also you make everything prior to that obsolete. We don't want that to happen either. We want those older items still in use. So.
Yeah, see, actually, believe it or not, that's what upgrades were supposed to be in the beginning. Like when a T9 would come out, you could actually upgrade your T8 hull to be almost as good as the T9 hull. But then they took that whole idea and perverted it horribly, and we ended up with what we got.
Right. And I can see that
upgrade everything.
And that would have been that would have been nice. If I could see it being a hard thing to work out, but in theory that would have worked. That would have been nice. That would have given your hulls longevity instead of just the way it is now.
I think it's still 2 or 3 base hitting fleets. That I can use to sort of hit bases with. You've got breaches, YouTube breaches. You've got the subjugators. You've got the howlers. Not everybody has got the new turrets in yet. And depends how they're set up. Because not everybody's great at building bases either. So, you can still try prepping things out. Maybe taking it down a little bit was okay, but it's just annoying that they give us these stats, they launch stuff on us, and then they change it again. To some extent, it's probably brought it down to a reasonable level, which it needed doing. But it's just I know I'm going back to what we were saying before about the they haven't tested. But it's just it kind of brought me there because of what we were saying about the not making the TikTok, making it too extreme,
Oh, don't fear! In 2 weeks, the UAV turret will be in the retrofit lab, and you'll be able to retrofit it back up to what its original stats were.
Right.
I don't know. I haven't seen any of the other heavies in there yet.
Anyway, let's talk some about the TLCs. Are you guys doing the TLCs? What do you think of the TLCs? I'll go first. I've been doing the one for the upgrade kits and tokens for the Pegasi, and I'm kind of annoyed by that one. It's still not hard, but it's like the previous one they had where when you would activate the ships, the subs and everything would keep coming at you. But now as soon as they get in their range to fire, they stop. And it's not a big change, but it's a big enough change that they don't enter that ring as fast, and that your Nessus does with that damage that can kill the hulls fairly quickly. So it just makes it that little bit more damage you have to take. And it just really annoys me that they just feel that they have to nickel and dime and micromanage everything like that.
Well, before this TLC, you can always bring in the ships close to where you got your attacking fleet in with your decoy, and then you can run your decoy into the clouds and they'll just stop. Now they'll turn around and go back to the original position.
Well, that was the original way it was. If you went into the cloud, they would turn around and go back where they came from.
Yeah. But then they had that going on where you can draw them close and then freeze them and then move around in the cloud and attack and not hardly taking any damage. But, well, they switched all that back.
Yeah. Well, my Peggy Sues are already upgraded, maxed up. So I'm doing the Tides of March TLC using the Pegasus, you know. I've only done 2 rounds of it so far, and I'm putting them in for long repair, you know. And I finished one and probably about 30 minutes before the show started. So they've got a couple of hours of repair. It's, I don't know, TLCs. We're hitting the same fleets, the same targets, the last 2 that we saw in the raid, and obviously without half damage, half repair, you know. So, yeah.
Watchman always has to jump ahead. We worked for that TLC yet.
Sorry.
Yeah.
For the Praetorians, obviously. No, that's just the one that I'm on. You know, I say we were talking about what TLC you're doing. If everyone can talk about the one they're doing, you know what I mean? But I did find that the damage was quite painful. Actually, it was more than I was expecting. But of course, it's not half a bit. So, you know.
Well, I mean, but let's be honest. Most of us were. Well, I can't say most of us, but a lot of us were only getting 5 to 10 minutes repair per target. So, I mean, you're looking instead of 5 to 10 minutes, now you're going to take 10 to 15 minutes or 10 to 20 minutes. That's still pretty freaking reasonable for a top tier thing, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah.
But I think, and Snoopy's talking about this in chat right now, I think what the problem you're going to run into as you get to the later encounters is you're going to have seven rounds to do and these long targets that take a long time to do.
Yeah.
So time is really going to be a problem.
Yeah, that is the problem.
I had people in my alliance have 10 seconds left. When they didn't even take a bathroom break or anything. They finished it with 10 seconds left. And so I just knew right away it's just not for me. I space off more than that. No way. I'm not even trying. I would be infuriated if I did 6 battles. It took me forever and then I didn't get done in time. No.
I had that happen on one TLC quite some time ago. But and I failed on that first attempt to do in the mastery. I didn't even try again. I was like, you can take this thing, shove it up your hoo-ha.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just not going to set myself up to be upset on it. So I'm not doing it.
No, I'm not going to do it either.
But their perspective is, we got to make this razor fine thing, so you're going to rush and you're going to take more damage than what you would have had to. That's their perspective on the whole thing.
Yeah, no, I get it. I do get it. I just hope they understand mine.
I'm sure they understand yours. They just don't care. Anybody else have anything on the TLCs they would like to say?
No, I'm
doing the second one now.
Yeah, I think we covered it. I mean, the main point is it's how long the targets take to do, isn't it? And how many actual battles you have to go into. Are
you starting to say something, Ozzy?
Yeah, I said I'm only going to do the Sons of Poseidon. That's it. I'm not doing the other one.
Gotcha.
No, it's not.
Have you noticed that same thing? What I was talking about the ship behavior, though. How now, as soon as they get in range to shoot you, they stop.
I haven't noticed.
Gotcha. Yeah, I definitely noticed it. It's just annoying.
Oh, actually, yes, I did notice. Sorry. Yeah, I did notice that. Especially the ones that come out from the shroud. They stop dead. If you're sitting there waiting for them to come to you, as soon as they get in range, they'll start firing and stop, and you're still out of range, so then you got to move, yeah. I've noticed those ones, not so much with the other ones, though.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not it's not that it does a crap ton of extra damage, but over the course of the 6 or 7 encounters, that extra damage adds up. You know what I mean? It's just like, grr. It's like, this is the exact same TLC that we had last time, and I didn't even had the flag then. So why is it like more of a pain in the butt this time than what it was then?
Well, I've noticed something about the Tides of March TLC. And the way I run it, if I tell y'all on the air how I run it, it's going to be fixed. So I'm going to wait till the after show. I know better.
Well, at least you know they're not going to try and test it.
No, at the after show, when I tell y'all, then you'll understand.
Yeah, I will. I'll listen.
So coming up next week, what do we got? We got Pillage, and we got 2 campaign reruns. Looks like the new things in Pillage is going to be for 2 new specials for your Imperator Praetorian and upgrades for it. Yay. Or, whatever catch-up stuff you need. And it looks like that's really all they got planned for next week.
Well, yeah, I mean, it doesn't say the specials are for the Praetorian. It just says 2 new specials. Then it says upgrades for Imperial.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true.
So they might not be for that yet. Those 2 new specials. They could be for the new turret. They could be for anything. We don't know.
Hopefully, it ain't no CICs.
Yeah.
Oh God! Don't say that.
So, because they haven't sort of clarified what those specials are yet. So,
it'll be specials for your UAV turret to take it back up to where it was before they nerfed it.
Well, that's what I said. You never know with them, do you? It's like, it's everything back they took away. Yeah.
My tinfoil hat is stuck on that coming back to where it was. But if you just do this, and this now.
Yeah.
Anyway. So I don't know. Before we pull the plug, anything anybody else wants to talk about?
I think
next month's raid. Stupid. Bounty, I mean. Freaking stupid having it on Christmas. Over Christmas.
Bah, humbug, I don't care.
After this last bounty, it'd be something if everybody looked at next bounty and said, nope, don't mess with it, and nobody runs it.
Actually, the most.
You know what I'd like to see? Sorry, Ross. Go ahead.
Go ahead, please.
All right. I was just going to say, I'd like to see some just regular new turrets. Not heavy turrets, just regular new turrets, like regular ones. When was the last time we got a new regular turret?
Yeah.
Right. A missile turret, just a regular missile, maybe even.
Something. I mean, I got all these heavy things that can deal damage, but the other turrets in my base mines will not even be there. Because they're not going to really do anything to the current hulls that are coming through.
That's true.
It's like, give me some regular turrets, man. Some regular new ones. Missiles or rockets or whatever. I don't care. Just something that's not a heavy turret can still do a little bit of damage to the current hulls. All right, now go ahead, Ross.
Oh, I was saying, I think that the game in general has been going okay for me. I've had friends land in multiple. I think that the game's in a good point as far as the players that are left. As far as the players that are left sharing with each other, trying to make a better game. And I think that we are at a good point as far as that goes. I don't know. There isn't one group that's got everything and one group that doesn't. There is still the haves and the have-nots in the game. But primarily, it's like the players against Kixeye lately, and I like that a little bit more. So
yeah, I mean, that's a double-edged sword though, because the more we have to share stuff with one another, the more public it becomes, and then the more they're able to be like, "Oh, that's what they're doing. Well, we're going to have to fix this." as was evident by, the gutting of the 133s and how that got fixed. Not totally, but it got, the point pull-in got reduced fairly quickly.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's a catch-22. So, it wouldn't be if we had a company working together with the players. But so that's my hopes that we'll have a little bit better relationship that going towards that way and not so negative. I guess that's what I'm looking forward to.
Now, here's a question for everybody. Kickside
42.
wants to bring in new blood and everything. How much new blood are we going to get if they find out about, so they put out a weapon and they nerf it. They've been doing this, they nerf it. They do that, they nerf it and everything and all that. How long are they going to have any new players?
I don't
think they care about
new blood. I was going to say I don't think they want new blood. I don't think there's any drive or any plans on even getting new blood.
Yeah, I wouldn't go so far as to say they don't want it, but they're definitely not going out of their way to try to get it.
I think the only players that could come into the game would be returning players, and that's about it. That's the only players you're seeing now. You're not seeing players starting from zero and working their way up anymore. It's if a player's coming back into the game, they're returning players. I think that's what I've seen for the last year or two, at least.
Right.
Probably longer.
Yeah. Well, they keep pulling the stuff that they're pulling. They ain't gonna have no players left. So.
Yeah, well, people have been saying that for 8 years, and here we are.
Yeah.
All right, closing thoughts. Stormcatcher, go.
Try to make the game as fun as you can make it on your own. Play your style and just try to enjoy with what we have.
Good ones. Watchmen.
Be safe out there.
What kind of pirate are you?
Hey, what's that?
Big thumbs down for this guy. Ozzy.
Nothing.
You're going with that thing that your mother taught you. If you can't say anything good, just keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, because you're telling us we're not allowed. We've got to watch our language now. So. Yeah.
Simba.
The one thing I would have to say is, if you are in the game and you see someone returning or low level that needs help with something, try to reach out and help them. Just don't go smash them. Just help them.
Or you can smash them, then help them.
Well, if they're too low to smash, don't help.
I would say
that's not necessarily true. I remember when I used to smash bases all the time, and then I would tell people what they had wrong in their base so they could fix it, and it would be harder for next time.
Yeah, that's what I used to do too.
Pretty helpful, actually.
Ross, what do you got?
I got in Sector 18 in the world I'm in is actually pretty fun, but Sector 18 is especially. So if you're a friend of mine or not, and you just like to have some fun in the game, I'm not talking about just beating each other or anything like. I'm talking about just comms, fun, and general camaraderie and humor. Come on down. It's pretty fun sector.
My closing statement is this.
Uh-oh.
Siege targeting does up damage for UAVs against buildings. I feel like I have to say this over and over and over and over and over and over all the time. So yeah, that's what I got for the end. That's my pro tip for the day. But anyway, thanks everybody for coming out and being here with us. Give us a thumbs up and a subscribe and all that fun stuff. If you're not a member of the page, I don't know what to tell you at this point. I mean, we've been there for a while. If you're not a member of the page, kick yourself and get yourself motivated and get over there. But anyway, till next week. Ooh, next week actually we will not be having a show because I'm going to a housewarming party for my nephew. So no show next week, but we will see you again the week after that.
All right.
Unless maybe I don't know. Maybe we'll get together. Maybe we'll do a Thursday show. We haven't done a Thursday show for a long time. Maybe we'll do something on Thursday. I don't know. I'll get with Ross and we'll let you know.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea because obviously Pillage would have started by then as well. So,
Yeah. But we'll see. All right. Take care, guys. Thanks for coming.
Bye.
okay.
All right, people.